here today. Today is our first LBA All Day Podcast, and I'm here joined with a lot of our members, some of our board members. I want to congratulate LBA for a successful luncheon last week. We're going to have one of our topics today is going to be our expo, which is February 21st, 2025, 2 weeks from today. Thank you, everyone, and I'm glad everybody's here with us today.
Great, thank you.
So I would like right now, after I finish speaking right now, for everybody to introduce yourself. First one to my right is my Director of Membership, Bella.
Hi, I'm Bella, the Director of Membership. That's all I got to say. Nice to see you.
Was great.
That was cute.
That was great.
Albert Foz, owner at John Bell Construction, and we're members of the LBA.
Good for you.
Bettina Alvarez, Director of Operations for the LBA.
Hi, my name's Nicole Ferran. I'm head of HR at Teccarini Cabinetry.
I don't know, we had HR in the building. Oh my God.
Hi, I'm Noelia Moreno, past president of the Latin Builders Association and the CEO of Teccarini Cabinetry.
There you go. Oof. How you going to top that, Hector?
Hector Chemendia, Vice President, GGA Insurance and Bonds, and I'm also a LBA Director, and I'm excited to be here.
Hello, Jazz Machin, Vice President of John Bell Construction, and I'm also head of HR for the company. So,
Is anybody an employee?
Emilio Miares, partner with Miares Group, CPAs and advisors, and a director here at the LBA.
Good deal.
Great. And I'm Matt Sangstrom, president of GlobalPro Florida. I'm also a director in the LBA. Today is an amazing day. We've worked on this for a couple weeks now. I know branding and logos are coming at some point. We're going to get all that stuff done, right? But today's our first episode, right, President?
I love it. And thank you, Matt, for making this happen, by the way.
No problem. Thank you guys for joining on this journey with us. Again, this is our first episode. I hope we get to 1,000, 1 million, 200 million. It's going to be great. But today is a very special one because we have a lot coming up. We just had a great luncheon. And today we're going to focus on not only our core topics, which are construction, commitment, and community. I think I said that right. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Whoop. I said it right. First one.
And the first time, by the way.
First time. But we're going to talk about a huge event coming up for everybody, and it deals with all three of those. It deals with construction, it deals with community, it deals with commitment, and it deals with community as well. So we're going to get into that in a second. But first, what is coming up? It's the big expo, but tell us what the theme of the expo is, what the date is, and what the time is.
So it's February 21st, 2025, 2.5 weeks from today. The theme of the expo is Foundation for the Future. And like I said in our luncheon, to me, this event is the most important event for our membership because it gets to expose what they do, what they have, their products, their merchandise, like no other event that we have. All the other events, we network a lot and we talk a lot. This was the one that they show.
So I think we can also say it's very informative. It's very educational. It takes 2 years to plan. This is every other year, right?
Every other year.
And now what we get to, like you said, what we get to do as an organization or as the family that we are in the LBA, everybody gets to show everybody how we work together, what we do, how we help the community, how we construct things in Florida, all over Florida and South Miami in particular.
And even at that same time, we're going to have stage.
Yeah, that's right.
We're going to have main topics that are very interesting, in South Florida that pertains to us.
Yeah, so that's the commitment to the community that we have, right?
Correct.
Which is we're bringing as much information, as much education as possible. We're going to have great topics. We're going to get into those here in a second and talk about some of those and how they're coming about and the people that are going to be speaking. I'm going to be on one of them, I think. Hector's going to be on one of them, so it's going to be a good
Well, actually, you're moderating the Champagne Towers.
Yeah, that's
and the first one in the stage 2.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It's a big one. It's a big topic.
Big topic.
Actually, we started talking about it, I believe, last time in our events, and we said 30 minutes, and after 5 minutes, we said, "Oh shit, we got about an hour and a half of content."
It was all right there.
Yeah, it was all right there.
So,
you know what's so funny that I loved about that conversation, that everybody was talking naturally, and we didn't have to read a book. You know why? Because we literally experienced it ourselves because it was in our backstage.
That's right.
And a lot of people don't know that, because the people that live in New York, they have their own things, but this happened here, and it was so big that it changed the insurance industry all over the United States.
It changed construction here in Florida, right? It changed insurance here in Florida significantly. the legislative environment that happened after that is we can talk about that. That could be 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, well, we're gonna have that topic
Yeah.
over there. We're never gonna have it today. So you gotta be there. You gotta come see it, guys.
So what I want to do is kind of go around the room though and talk about some of that stuff. So let's talk about the topics in general because we already jumped into it. So one is about the ramification, or I shouldn't say the ramifications.
Well, the first main stage is how do you build your bonding lifeline.
There you go.
And to me, as a contractor, it's one of probably the most important tool that we have. And many contractors don't want to take the leap of faith because they think it's very difficult. It's not. It's just do your correct paperwork and being in conjunction with the correct accountant, the correct agent, the correct surety.
Right. So I think we have that here in the room. I'm pretty sure, right? At the end of the day, right? So John Bell, from your perspective, piggyback off of that. What is that? How do you guys get through that? How do you work with your insurance agents, your insurance partners, with your accountants, your CPAs? Give us a little idea again from what Tony's talking about from the GC side.
So to follow up on what Tony said, I agree. A lot of people are fearful of being bonded. The initial perception of being bonded is that, hey, you're putting all your personal assets at risk. And the truth is you are, with exceptions, of course. So they're worried, hey, if I don't perform on a job, my livelihood is at risk. So they are a little fearful of taking that leap of faith, like he said. But it is critical in terms of growth and scaling. If you're not bondable, you're limited into the size jobs that you can get unless some owners are willing to give you work without a bond. But the majority, once you scale, the majority of owners are requiring bonding for self-protection. So if you want to scale, it's extremely important that you become bondable, that you're bondable, and that you get a strong grasp of your financials. How do we work? Who do we work with in terms of bonding? We're definitely working with our CPA. In order to achieve bonding, you got to have a strong reviewed financial. So it's not just internal financials. You have to have a third-party person reviewing it and qualifying what you're reporting internally. And you do need to have a strong agent. We've had several experiences in which our agent, tells us we need certain requirements, tells us we need certain things, and it's not accurate, and we've actually lost significant amount of money bonding back certain people that weren't required to be bonded. So it's complex, but it's very, very important, and it's not that difficult. Like Tony said, you have to make it happen if you want to scale and grow.
And again, I just want to piggyback on what he was talking about, that people are scared to be bonded because, yes, you do have to put a lot of your assets in because, they're bonding you for $20, $30, $40 million. So you have to, they have to know that you're capable of sustaining, if something happens. But again, that goes back to, do you believe in yourself? So I would double down on me 1,000 times because I never go to a project thinking that I'm going to fail or that that's not going to happen.
Correct. I just feel that as you scale as a business owner, at the end of the day, you're as strong as your employees. So you rely on your employee. So even if you have a strong business, at any time an employee can miss something, and you may not be responsible for that action, but ultimately we end up being responsible. So I could see how some contractors, aside from being new to bonding and not being sure of what the experience is, you really are at risk to the employee and the corporation and the company that you've built and the people around you. So it's very important, that your team understands, hey, we're talking about my life, we're talking about my livelihood. It's not no more like, hey, John Bell's just going to disappear. We're talking about my kids, the wealth I've developed over my entire life,
I feel that we could talk about the subject for tomorrow, to be honest with you.
But I want to add two other perspectives too, from the CPA and then from the insurer side as well. So tell us a little bit about your clients and how that's been working out for them.
Yeah, I think exactly. You guys are on point. I think the main thing about bonding is that people don't know, like if they're new to bonding, they don't understand what they need to do. So I think it's one of the main things is being organized, and it's a big investment in your organization to have the things organized, documented, and make sure you're doing the accounting correctly. That way a third party, a CPA, could come in and review it or audit it and sign off on your financials. But for the more experienced, GCs and subs, obviously they have all this already in place and they're organized, and it's an easy process. I think when you're new to bonding, it's harder to understand what you have to. It's an educational thing from the CPA's point of view and also from the agent's point of view, explaining what they need to do so they could organize it. And usually the first year is the harder one, just because you got to get everything in order and organized. But once that's done, it's like Tony said, it's not a hard thing, and it does take your business to the next level. Like if you just want to stay status quo and you're going to be doing jobs that are not bondable, then
and that's not
okay.
a problem, by the way.
Yeah,
that's where you want to get to, and that's okay. We need everybody to have a certain level. Not everybody can have a 40 million, 50 million, 100 million. We have to have the ones that do the 300 because we don't do it.
Yeah, there's.
So you have to have that type of contractor.
Right. If you want to go, and that's again, it's what you want in your journey, in your vision. If
how much stress do you have? That's what you really want to.
It depends on what you want to do. If you want to grow and scale and do bigger projects, then you need to be bondable and you need to. But it's not a difficult process once you get organized and documented. It's kind of simple. Just your accounting has to be right. You can't be trying to hide here and there and leave things under the table. You have to be straightforward.
And I would like to add, it's really important to hire a CPA firm that understands construction accounting, understand what it takes. Having lived through that experience personally as a subcontractor, now that we have CPAs that understand that, it's a game changer.
Yeah, cash flows are different. There's all sorts of different things that come into the picture with that stuff. So from an insurer perspective, Hector,
All right.
tell us about your side of it, your portion of
Money
it.
question. So
Hector, limit to 30 minutes.
So the first thing I always tell people is a bond is not an insurance policy. A bond is a guarantee. So the process is different because we have subcontractors for days at GGA, and they call us, hey, I heard you do bonds. Hey, can you give me a $5 million bond? Okay. Let's take a step back. Let's get a meeting. Who's your CPA? Who are you with? So it really matters who your all-star team is, from the agent to the CPA to the surety. The first thing they tell you in bonding school, character. The 3 C's, character, capital, capacity. You need to have character. Who are you? Because this is a guarantee. Like Albert said, this is your livelihood on the line. So it's like Emilio also said, education. It's a lot of education in the beginning, getting them to understand, and then walking them through the process, which is, it all comes down to relationships. This is not a transaction. For the bonding people out there, don't just call anybody, Google who to call. Find out who your local associates are, subcontractors. You see who you're working with, who you're doing your bond with. Go with somebody you trust and stick to that person and let them guide you through the process, because it's a rigorous process. And the last thing you want to be doing is dealing with a bonding agent in Orlando. No offense to Orlando.
So, but that,
It's a shot over the bow right there.
GGA is getting to open up their third location in Orlando, Q3, Q4.
No,
So we will be over there soon.
So I just want to say, I want to say something to what Hector said and Albert said and Emilio. It's really a family. Like my bonding agent and my surety, we're brothers. I mean, and at the end of the day, sometimes, and it has happened, you can be in a test to this, you find out that there's a bid going on that you didn't see it advertised and you wanted to bid. And in that moment, now at the beginning of the year, we're doing all the financials and you guys are swamped. And you call and you said, hey, I need a $10 million bond. And if you don't have that relationship, they're going to say, well, you haven't given me my paperwork, blah, blah, blah. So usually they call the CPA. And the CPA will say, listen, I do the books, so I don't see there's a problem with it because I know what the number that's going to be at the end. You will get that bond. But if you don't have that relationship, it will never happen.
That's what I wanted to add. And going back to the idea of relationship and it being a family, right? It could be daunting getting into bonding for the first time and becoming bondable. But when you look at it, it could be good news. Look at it as good news that you have, you can partner with your CPA, you can partner with your insurance agent and your surety. And from experience, we can speak about the importance of having somebody that really understands your business, right? Those usual meetings, the goal-oriented meetings. Okay, so what's next for John Bell or Unitech or any company, right? What's next? What are you guys going after? How can we get there? It's super important. So you're not alone at the end of the day. It could be daunting. Yeah, it's a big level up and it's a big next step, but you have a full team and the importance of that team is paramount.
And it's a great satisfaction, by the way. When you get there, it'll take you maybe a year or so in the beginning, but growing up in construction is well worth it, and you're more respectable also.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to commitment, right? You're committed to your trade, your craft, your business, your employees, the clients that you're working for, right? Like, that goes back to that. But to your point before, Hector, and you're the president of the LBA, that's what the LBA is for, right? That's what it's for, is to forge these bonds and to build these families, right?
Strong bonds to have forged. Yep. I mean, all CPAs, bonding companies, insurance agents, if you want something done or want to meet somebody, you have to be part of the LBA.
Yeah, you got to come to the expo.
And you got to come to the expo.
Right.
February 21st.
2025.
At the Youth Fairgrounds.
When does the coffee start? The coffee starts when?
Hey, that
coffee starts at 9 a.m. or?
At 9 a.m.
Okay,
9 a.m.
coffee starts Cafecito started at 9 a.m.
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody's already drinking it at 7 at the house.
12 o'clock.
Okay, so next topic at the expo is going to focus around what?
Next topic of the expo is a developers, owners rep, contractors, and I think we just added a second developer.
Great.
So we have a residential developer and we have a commercial developer. I want everybody to get perspective of both.
Good. So let's talk about your business a little bit too, and in that world and development. I mean, just anecdotally and just from a 30,000-foot view, I think we can all agree. Brickell, the number of high-rise in Brickell, we're in a 10-year cycle now. We're in year 6. Is going to be double, right? Number of, and we're talking double number of high-rises is going to double, but the size and the heights are going to double for all these. It's crazy. It's crazy. The Waldorf is going to be the biggest one, I think, still, right? We haven't popped that up yet. Okay, so the Waldorf is coming up. Those PMG guys are right over here. I know all of them, and that's going to be the marquee. The Mandarins also.
That Mandarin, they drop it already? They're going to drop it soon.
April.
Oh, they drop it. I thought it was
believe
going to be
April.
soon. Yeah.
But a lot of these developments are 50% already sold. They're already on the way, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Right? If not more, right? But 50 is the number, right? And most of them are at 50 already, meaning the projects are going to finish, right? They're going to move in. They're going to turn over.
Well, the developers nowadays, they're not, shooting from the hip anymore. They're going in solid already, so they don't fail.
Yeah. And that comes with the finishes, and that comes with sometimes the names, right? We have Porsche, Deezer, and those guys, they did Porsche way back in the day, but now we have Mercedes coming in here. We had the Aston Martin building. That building is unbelievable, by the way, right? Yeah. And all these other names are coming, right? So
those kitchens are about $300,000 or $400,000.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So tell us about how your business is booming right now, and how that looks for you guys.
Our business is more geared towards the high-end rental communities rather than the condos, for our own personal reasons that we were talking about the condo world. But there is no slowdown with the residential multifamily guys at all. We just finished at the Miami World Center. We finished Block G for Flow Development. They're just getting started on the last tower there, and that's really exciting. And there's development all over. I mean, Wynwood is just when you think Wynwood is going to stop, they're exploding.
That's great.
So there's a lot of things going on in Miami-Dade County and Broward, all over Florida.
Good. And then from a residential perspective, and you guys do commercial and residential, I know, but for residential, I mean, everyone's building their houses up or they're gut renovating everything. I mean, nothing has stopped, in my opinion. Nothing has slowed down, in my opinion. So, in the next couple of years, we'll call it, right, between bonding and your CPA and your insurer and all this other stuff that you need, it seems like everything is still moving at a crazy pace, and people are still moving here. I was one of those people that moved here, obviously, right? But you tell us, what's development look like right now? What does construction look like right now for you guys?
So, what I can say is we stopped doing residential work a couple years ago, and definitely around COVID was that incredible boom, right? Everybody was adding to their house, everybody was renovating their house, even before, right? 2016 through 2020, 2021, everybody was gutting their house. So we did see a lot of that. The multifamily took off even after COVID. Even with material prices escalating, you're absolutely right. I mean, I don't think we've seen much of a slowdown. For us being out of the residential game for a little bit, from what we hear, it's not as fast paced as it was during COVID and when people were working from home and all the work that was happening around that time. I can say that definitely the larger high-rise game, I mean, it's incredible on every single corner. The plans do not stop. We see the plans just be in the industry. It's nonstop. But for the smaller developments around multifamily, could be 3, 5, 7, 8 stories, not the large, not even mid-rise. We've seen a little bit of a I don't even want to say slow down, but the pro formas aren't adding up as much as maybe 2020, 2021, right? As far as, it's, the cost of construction with what they thought the construction was going to be 2-3 years ago, right? Because you buy a plot of land, you kind of get some cost per square foot. By the time that job is ready to bid, meaning the plans are completely developed, and you get a bid from a contractor, it's a little kind of eye-opening to some of the developers.
The $50,000 piece of land that costs you $400 now, it just throws the performer out of whack.
Correct. That's what we've been seeing in that game, right? We're not building high rises. I'm sure if we will, we wouldn't know what to do with the amount of work. But hey, it's interesting to see either way what's going to happen. I don't know if Albert, you want to add to.
My input on that is, I agree. The turnover period for those larger high-rise projects we're talking about, those have been in the works for 5, 7 years. They've been buying lots off the county or off of other private investors for a long time, and those projects are in the works for a long time. But like Jazz says, at least in our division of construction, anything 5 to 10 stories, we bid several jobs where the pro formas were no longer making sense to the clients. Aside from the price of the property, 2-3 years ago when these people were actually buying the property, interest rates, were low. Now interest rates being 7%, on a typical mortgage. If you get lucky, on that type of private lending, if you're going hard money lending, you can see rates up to 12-15%, and the pro formas just aren't working. So the developers, at least at our scale, at our level, they have held back a bit, or they're trying to re-engineer the project, figure out, how can we save on cost? And that's where we are right now. A lot of our work is more municipal work. Coral Gables, City of West Miami, Pinecrest, it's a lot of municipal work, not so much private development per se. That's what we're seeing right now.
So you have dedicated budgets already, and money's already there at the end of the day for you guys.
Yeah, and now in the high-rise game, we are a subcontractor as well. We have a masonry division where we do projects anywhere between 150 to 400,000 block. And we have masons on staff, rod busters, carpenters. And obviously now with the market and what's going on, there's a big concern for, the legal workforce, the, people that are non-residents, the legal workforce in construction. We do have a little bit of a worry. Are we going to have the labor that we need in order to be able to perform this work at that high-rise level? And through reading several articles, these big developers are projecting that these projects are going to take them a little bit longer than they originally anticipated. But again, everything is, up for question. We don't know how long those tariffs are going to last. We don't know how long those deportations are going to last. So it's all kind of speculative in the market at this time.
I would easily tell everybody that's listening now, if you do have an illegal working for you, just get them certified. That's it. Get them an immigration attorney, right, and have them listed, and that's it. Game over. It's not that difficult. It really is not. People think it's difficult. It's not. And if they have a history of working here and people can testify, they'll get vetted quicker. We don't even want those.
Correct.
I was going to say.
Correct. You see it a lot in the high-rise division. Like, just if you can fact check me. But I think I saw an article the other day where about 45% of the people working on these jobs are immigrants. And I think like 25% of those people or 30% of those people are non-residents and illegals. So there's just word around that high-rise game that we're currently in.
There's nothing wrong with being illegal. My parents were immigrants. They did it the right way. They came here. They immigrated here. They did their paperwork, and they became United States citizens. Nobody is saying to anybody that you cannot be a United States citizen. But you got to start. If you've been here for 20 years and you haven't even filled out a paperwork, come on.
Correct. So immediately upon the year starting and that occurring, and we're kind of going off, we're going on a tangent with this, but like immediately upon the new year starting and that happening, immediately you saw a reduction of workforce arriving to the job site. Immediately. Like, talking about immediately. So, it is a concern for the GC and ultimately the developer, because they have deadlines that they have to meet. Since 50% of the units are sold, they're promising these buyers that a certain date that they're going to turn over these units, and they're worried about, the construction pushing in terms of delay, in terms of time.
Yeah, and other things like defects and stuff like that, of course.
One of the things I'd like to hop in, sorry to cut you off, but you mentioned tariffs. This week, I've had calls from every client that their projects are coming up, wanting to know if their product is going to be affected by tariffs, and if so, they want to expedite their product, which creates a huge bottleneck for us. First of all, we're bringing it from Italy. So for now we're safe.
Go buy a warehouse.
We can solve that right now.
There is no empty warehouse anywhere. I'm sorry.
We can solve more. We'll talk offline. We can solve that right now if you need a space.
So that's a concern that the general contractors are having, because and subs as well, because if you're allowed to, if you have an escalation clause in your contract, that's one thing, it's passed on to the developer. If you don't, then that's cutting into your gross profit. So it's a big concern.
I know that we went off topic, but this is a great topic. So because of COVID, we contractors are able to get a little back control from the developers and the owners. Because back in the day, before pre-COVID, you would get a job and they didn't want to give you money for the deposits. Now everybody's asking for deposits, so now developers are giving you the money for the deposit, because if not, they're not going to get the products.
Correct.
So it's good things and bad things. But you got to take it as a whole.
Right, and the thing with deposits, at least the way we feel about it, is, and now I'm going to sound legal, my attorney background's coming in, but I'm the fiduciary, and I have to spend that money for the deposit for their material. I can't spend it for my overhead. And if you're taking deposits and you're bonded, you have to be really careful about, when and how you spend your money.
No misallocation, no misappropriation of funds here.
Can't buy it in both. Because the Miami boat shows are on.
No, why not? Why?
And one more thing.
They might be able to squeeze in some Louboutins by the boat.
One more thing with tariffs, this is my belief, guys. As I don't put this on anybody, but it's very simple. I'm an American. If you're charging me 25% to get my materials over here, I'm going to charge you 25% to get my materials over there. Very simple. I charge what you're charging me. You want to charge me zero, you get zero. Very simple. Why does it have to be so much on one side?
Yeah.
To me, it's very simple.
When it comes to tariffs, what I recommend is just find out who your supplier is buying their product from, where it's coming from, because not every supplier is buying from, for example, Canada. The majority of wood that we use in construction does come from Canada, but not every supplier is buying that wood from Canada. So just got to have a phone call with your supplier, find out where they're sourcing their material from. And if tariffs could have an effect, you just have to have constant communication with your supplier.
I think Canada's going to become the 51st state here shortly anyway, and we're gonna buy Greenland soon, so we have plenty of wood. I think lumber's gonna be okay. So, but moving on from these fun discussions and topics. But what's the net? Well, we talked about Surfside a little bit already. What's the one after that? The topic after that?
Rebuilding with FEMA.
Okay. And what's that one gonna basically entail?
Oh, we got hit hard this year, not only us, but North Carolina and Georgia and the Panhandle is unbelievable. I don't know. There must be like a trail, in the Gulf of America.
That's right.
The Gulf of America. I said it correct. That is leading directly into the Panhandle, because those guys are getting killed. So, and we all have a lot of families. We do a lot of business there. I know that you do a lot of business up there in the West Coast.
Yeah.
I don't go up there to the West Coast. So it's a little bit too far for me as a GC. It doesn't make sense to do that. But I think it's important for people to understand, what is FEMA doing? What are they thinking about in the future? Now, our president said, we stopped 90 days giving money because we're going to give it back to our people first. So hopefully that's an impact, and FEMA continues to be on the forefront to help. Like you and I and Manny Pozo from BioResponse, we took that 14-foot square box to those homeless kids that are up there. The necessities. Those kids were crying. Their parents were crying while we were giving them.
Yeah.
I mean, those are disaster people.
Yeah.
So I think that FEMA needs to explain to us what are they going to do for the future, because we have family up there.
Yeah, and it's so underfunded. Obviously, they have no money right now.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that need to change. From and I don't want to say from a tax perspective, but that's essentially where the money's coming from at the end of the day. But FEMA needs to reassess. This administration needs to figure out what's going on with that stuff, because they're not as quick and don't have the funds right now to take care of these things. I mean, just look at North Carolina, and I hate to bring it back to that, but everyone forgot. I mean, the 4-month cycle for that is gone.
Yeah.
So North Carolina has nothing's changed. You can go there right now.
There's still people living in
It
that.
looks like the flood just happened yesterday,
Yep.
because nothing has changed. Literally, I'm not exaggerating. So unfortunately, we had the fires in California now, so everything went over there.
Yeah.
But
That should have never happened.
when you don't have money from 7 months prior to that, this is punch after punch, basically, right? It's kind of hard. But yeah, FEMA hopefully will figure itself out.
I'm sure it will.
The flood, most importantly, the flood insurance, the NFIP that comes out of FEMA, going back to the insurer side, is a whole nother worry. It's a whole nother issue at the end of the day. Much like citizens here in Florida, much like the FAIR program in California, that stuff is paid by us, right? Like we're funding that stuff. And when I say there's no money, there's no money. So the money we're putting in there is gone.
Yes.
Right. So, they bought the boat instead of making sure they pay the deposits. You know what I mean? So
They bought the boat, but didn't buy a propeller.
that's right. That's right. That's right. So moving on from there though, how are we going to close the expo?
So the final, the final on the side chat is the third one, but the one that we're closing is in the main stage is the one that we talked about before, is the developers, contractors.
Oh, good. Okay.
And owners rep.
Okay.
But the final in the fireside chat has to do with FPO, energy sustainable buildings.
Energy.
I just wanted Bettina to say something about.
Active.
I just wanted Bettina to say something.
There we go. So B, tell us what is the last one?
So actually, I'm going to have to take this one back to Tony. I know that we're going to include FPL and Paoli, I believe. We're going to...
Jail system, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So just those
FPL?
perspectives.
What's the title?
And the director of the Green Building Council.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And who?
The director of the Green
I'm sorry.
Council.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a nationwide council that deals with the energy. I mean, look what's happening with the supposedly solar in California.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It's not even solar. Those are mirrors. Those are mirrors burning up a solar panel in the middle to produce heat to do nothing, because it's losing billions of dollars of their taxpayers' money.
So they have to get it right.
They have to get it right.
If we're gonna do this, it's
I think solar, to me, to be honest with you, I think it's a great energy system, especially for houses. I don't know that a high rise will benefit from it, because the footprint that they can't have enough solar panels on top to do that system. But houses, they can.
Yeah.
I mean, if today the power goes off and you have solar on top of your roof, nothing happened. Your life did not change at all.
The issue becomes, and I'm going to throw this in on the insurer side, the issue becomes if you have solar panels on your roof in your home and you have a hurricane or you have a tornado or something happens to your roof, you're
Do you see that
trouble.
Our world revolves around insurance?
Well, if I'm listening, yes, it's going to. Hector's in here too. My point is also, like, there's a lot of things that need to be figured out. Solar, I would agree, from a single family home perspective, great. The problem is on a high rise, right? We need what? We need Tesla batteries. We need all sorts of stuff to regenerate and exponentially grow that energy source to get all the way up the building. Literally get all the way up the building. The problem becomes though is that when you have, and me coming from New York, right? When you have Brickell, Edgewater, downtown, right? And those number of high-rise buildings are going to double in the next 4 years, really, at the end of the day.
the tall ones
There's-
need the small one, and you're
Right.
not going to get any sun.
We're going to have issues already. We don't have the infrastructure now, so it needs to be done today, which is impossible right now at the moment.
I think all the municipalities and government agencies, they've been focused on building, and they forgot about infrastructure.
Yeah.
And it's a concerning for all of us because, if you live in the west area, to get into downtown is a 2-hour ride.
Yeah.
In the morning, no matter what time you leave.
Yeah, no, it's really bad down there.
Yeah. So anyway, for closing, for closing, I want to thank Matt, CEO of GlobalPro, for hosting us here.
President
of GlobalPro.
Mr. CEO.
Presidente.
I want to thank Matt, Presidente of GlobalPro, for hosting this event. I mean, he has a magnificent place here. I also want to give a shout out to Dan. And I had a long conversation with him today, and he advised me that for all our listeners and our members, you can rent space here and become a member. And, just for $100 a month, we'll give you, he calls it credits, 4 credits, which means a credit's an hour, that you can have 4 hours of part time here on your own. So I just want to give a shout out. Just because you haven't said it, I want to be the one to say it.
There you go. Thank you. No better endorsement, right?
There you go.
Yeah, I'll send you the money. Write the check, but thank you.
Send us credit.
Oh, I'll send you credits. How about that? I'll give you free credits. How about that? So we haven't heard from 2 people though today. They know what I'm talking about.
Mama. Yeah, come do a podcast. It's great.
No, actually, really quickly, I want to do another shameless plug. So our expo has been tracking so wonderfully. We are officially sold out with our booths.
Great.
Bella, who is a little camera shy there, has started a wait list. So if you want to be on the wait list, please do not hesitate to contact her. We are now focused on selling tickets. So please make sure to get your tickets. You don't want to miss this event.
We're going to be capping out at $5.
For friends and family. It's available on Eventbrite. You can access it through our website as well. Or you can contact us.
Look below in the
You
caption.
can look below in the caption. You can look at our social media. I mean, we are all over the place. You can't miss it.
What's the LBA Instagram?
It's LBA Org. And our website is www.lbaorg.com.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
I want her to say it. We're missing somebody.
Yeah, Nicole.
So I'm very excited. This is my first LBA Expo. We've been planning a lot, at least at our office, for our booth, and we're very excited to get to know all the LBA members' businesses and get to talk more about that.
That was good. No, she had nothing to go on. That was really good. That was great. Good job. So, okay, guys, this is our inaugural, because it's inauguration. Well, it was inauguration month, but it's our inaugural episode. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Guys, we are LBA All Day Podcast, episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's not insurance,